Hey everybody, this is Cameron here with the third video for today. I wasn't expecting to make so many videos, but if I just let these articles, stock up, it's going to be, it's going to take me a while to get through. So I figure, hey, if it comes across right now in front of me and I have some time, I'm going to do a quick video about it. So this comes to us from a UK website, The Times. It is a interview with Jennifer Lynch. It's called My Father, David Lynch, Why I Wear His Ashes Around My Neck. 5 months after the Twin Peaks director's death, his eldest daughter, Jennifer, talks about his plan to leave the US and why she wants people to see his final TV script. Here is a wonderful photo of them. All right. Jennifer Lynch had been working on the set of a television show until 4 a.m. the morning her brother called in order to tell her that her father, the film director David, had died. I pressed ignore, not in a rude way, but I had just fallen asleep. But he called right back, and I knew something was wrong. It was January 15th, and Los Angeles was still on fire. Age 78 and a lifelong smoker, David Lynch was suffering from emphysema and had been evacuated from his home near Mulholland Drive. The fires had come close and the air quality was poor, but he was about to move back in, oxygen tank in tow. It was his last day of evacuation, and we were going to meet at his house in an hour and a half. I was going to stay for the rest of my own evacuation, so I just missed him. The shock is still raw because her father was such a doer. I'm still astounded when I reach for my phone and realize not only can I not text him, but he won't text immediately back. So much of my life was sharing things with dad, funny things, horrible things, miraculous things. There's something I didn't know. I didn't know David Lynch was an avid texter. That's pretty cool. Speaking from her home in LA, Jennifer, 57, warns me she might cry and apologizes for a photo backdrop she can't get rid of. Tall blades of dewy grass. I look like an ant. It's surreal. It looks, in fact, like a David Lynch tracking shot, that opening sequence from Blue Velvet when his long term collaborator, Kyle MacLachlan, finds an ear buried in a perfect lawn. At Christmas, Lynch had told his 4 children it might be his last. He found himself mentally able to do things, but he was having a hard time breathing. He was working on his archives, and they are almost done. He had finished writing a TV series for Netflix, Unrecorded Night, his first since Twin Peaks: The Return in 2017. But his children, who are close despite having 4 different mothers, aren't sure anyone else can direct it. None of us ever tried to make his series in his place. We are considering offering that as a published piece so that people can sit with his ideas. It would be very sad if people didn't get to see it. I would agree. This is something that myself and others on this channel have brought up. What was going to happen to his projects that were never made. Obviously, we don't think that other directors can just take it and do it. It's not, David Lynch wasn't just any other filmmaker. But something like Unrecorded Night or a few of his other films, we think should be published in like really nice, editions. And I think it'd be wonderful as a fan and a wonderful tribute to the artist, the man himself, and and his work, for us to at least experience what he initially wanted to do. Obviously, David Lynch. There's a famous saying that came out of Fire Walk with Me, where someone on the set said, "Hey, when you read a David Lynch script, it's no big deal. But it's how he translates the words to the image." And I personally disagree. I think that when I read one of his scripts, I'm in awe. Obviously, I have no idea how he's going to shoot it because he changed his style, kind of due to the material that he was directing. But you can kind of get a sense of what it would be tonally. So I think it'd be wonderful to just sit back and read Unrecorded Night, however long it was going to be. I don't know if it was another 500-page script or not, but I would be placing that pre-order right now if they drop that. So yes, very much. I 100% uh, would love to see that, Jen. All right, let's continue. Had he cast it? Yes, but not officially. McLaughlin, surely. Jen says, I was sworn to secrecy, but yes, I'm sure Kyle would have been a part of it. And Laura Dern and Naomi Watts. He loved to play with his friends. We know that Laura Dern and Naomi Watts was involved because they were in touch with him. They also had a meeting at Netflix, I believe, regarding it. So, but Kyle being a part of it, uh, never had official confirmation. This is maybe as official as we're going to get for a while. So, but that's really cool. Lynch died 4 days short of his 79th birthday and a couple of months shy of the 35th anniversary celebrations for the original Twin Peaks, his TV show about the murder of the prom queen Laura Palmer. Blending, blending horror and comedy, damn fine coffee, and a finger-snapping, backwards dancing dwarf, it upended what a small-town crime story could do, influencing everything from the X-Files to Stranger Things to American Horror Story, a show Jennifer has directed. A New Yorker cartoon published after Lynch's death showed the director arriving at the pearly gates and being asked by St. Peter, "Okay, but who really killed Laura Palmer?" The crime was solved in season 2, much to Lynch's annoyance, the TV execs insisted. But the show's outrageous plot twists make the murderer one of the less memorable details. Lynch also died 4 days short of Donald Trump's inauguration. And that was not something he was excited about, Jennifer says dryly. That was something he was deeply concerned about, and he was considering leaving the country. Wherefore? I think he would have gone to Paris. He could have made his art, drink his espresso, and smoke his cigarettes. He had stopped smoking, but it was a little too late. I love this photo of David, Peggy, and Jennifer as a little kid. It's adorable. Her parents met at art school in Philadelphia. They were students who fooled around and made art together and also made a baby, and therefore became married. In 1968, they had little choice, although Lynch was only 22 and his wife, the painter Peggy Reevy, 21. Jennifer's memories are of an intensely creative but poor household. We were very, very broke. When I brought a friend over, the thing they would tell kids at school was, Jen lives in a garage. Not that we had built a dollhouse or made things. Her father was not ready for parenthood. She recalls him shouting, "This is not the art life," and channeled his fears into Eraserhead, his surrealist film about a man left to care for a deformed baby. Jennifer was born with club feet and as a baby wore corrective shoes connected with a bar. I never crawled, I scooted. Age 2, she was on the set of Eraserhead playing with the model of her creepy alter ego. Lynch would ask her to look left and right so he could swivel its eyes convincingly. Was that not frightening? Not at all. I wanted to play. Her parents separated when she was 7, but stayed close in recent years, sharing 2-hour Zoom calls every Sunday with their daughter, who is now divorced with an adult daughter of her own. Having grown up on film sets, it was inevitable that Jennifer would write a film of her own, aged 19. But Boxing Helena, a gothic love story about a man who keeps a woman in a box, was overshadowed by a legal case brought by the producers against Kim Basinger. Originally set to star after Madonna pulled out, Basinger changed agents and also quit. But while Madonna repaid her fee after being cast in Evita, Basinger's lawyers argued the actress had never been on board. She was clearly fitted for prosthetics, and we were very close to shooting. You can change your mind, but I wasn't going to be told she never intended to do it, Lynch says, and it is clear the trial still stings. Basinger eventually settled for about $4 million, and the film was made with Sherilyn Fenn. The reviews were brutal, calling it misogynistic and schoolgirl surrealism. Lynch thinks the critics took it too literally. It was written by a 19-year-old who didn't really want to cut the arms and legs off a woman, and it suffered greatly because I was my father's daughter. That is partly true. He felt bad about that, she says, but also a little competitive. There were interesting moments where the film would get a good review, and he would struggle with it and say, well, that's because that reviewer doesn't like me. Violence is a theme that runs through David Lynch's work, from the sadistic Frank Booth in Blue Velvet to the murders and suicides of Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive, something that is hard to square with the sunny, joyful man his family and friends describe. There was no cruelty in him, but he understood cruelty and could tell stories about it. When she was 8, a babysitter gave her a copy of Helter Skelter. This was a story that she actually relayed to me in an interview we did back in 2013 that you can actually find on this YouTube channel. So check it out. A book about the Charles Manson murders, and she recalls her father finding her reading it. I remember a very bright day and him squatting down so his face was right in front of mine, and he took the book and said, "Jeno, there's darkness, there is light, and then there is evil. This book is about evil." And he pitched it across the yard. He preferred to explore evil in his films instead. She was 21 when he asked her to write The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, a Twin Peaks spinoff that went on to be a bestseller. He called and said, "Do you remember that day I picked you up from school? I was about 12 at the time. You told me you wish you could find another girl's diary, take it home, and see if she was fearing and yearning for the same things you were." Lynch and his Twin Peaks co-writer Mark Frost told her who killed Laura Palmer. The series had only just started and swore to secrecy, but she was otherwise given free rein. I wanted to give her as much innocence as I could, make her a full girl. She is thrilled that Twin Peaks is being celebrated again. Frost, when I speak to him on the phone, estimates that the show is on its fourth generation of fans, finding their way to it through VHS, then DVD, and now streamers. The sustained interest of a global community was astonishing to both of us. Our strange little show upset the apple cart. Twin Peaks was his third collaboration with Lynch after 2 failed film scripts and dreamt up in LA diners over pancakes and turkey sandwiches. That sounds great. I'm actually hungry right now. Writing with David was like playing tennis from the jump, Frost says. He hit the ball back with the same vigor and creativity. Did they plan a 4th series? We had a very early idea, but nothing on paper. Who knows? I didn't feel it was appropriate to push when his health was uncertain. I can't even fathom trying to do the show without him, but there may be other ways. Like I said earlier, I think there's going to be another Twin Peaks book. And I love this picture of David and Isabella. Meanwhile, Jennifer and her siblings are grappling with their father's vast archive: paintings, sculptures, sound recordings, furniture, scripts, as well as films. Some of it is up for auction later this month. He wanted his children to sell his beloved home and split the proceeds equally. He was very aware that we had different experiences growing up and never wanted any of us to feel loved more than the others. Crying, she points to a silver vial hanging around her neck. These are Dad's ashes. I gave them to my siblings too. She was overwhelmed by the response to his death, but it has made it harder to grieve. At his memorial, her father's former girlfriend, Isabella Rossellini, asked her how she was feeling. She spoke about it when her own father, the director Roberto Rossellini, had passed, and the world also mourned. And she said, "There may come a time when you need to say no. You all loved him, but he was my father." She told me she was on the phone. I'm sorry. She told me she was on a plane once and became very emotional. The stewardess asked if she was okay, and Isabella said, "My father died." And the stewardess said, "I'm so sorry, when?" And Isabella said, 15 years ago. That's how fresh the wound feels, like Dad just left. He was just in the room, and I was just talking to him. Wow, that is, I was not expecting the article to end there. That's pretty heavy. But yeah, this article just dropped. My father, David Lynch, why I wear his ashes around my neck. Yeah. Wow, Jen, that's an amazing bit of information you decided to share with everybody. Thank you so much for doing that article. That's incredible. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this is going to be my last video for today. But thank you so much for watching everything and supporting us and giving this video and all the videos thumbs up and subscribing to this channel. And anyway, yeah, I will see you soon. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.